So basically, every attorney's practice make use of correspondence. The reason being that in some instances, okay, all right. So basically, what is the correspondent? Correspondent is, for example, there's an attorney in Cape Town who's got a client in Mpumalanga. So basically now he has to instruct an attorney in Mpumalanga to maybe we don't know if the case. So let's say, for example, I come. I go to a lawyer. I stay in Joburg. So basically, a correspondent is sort of like you doing the other work because you are closer. So let's say, for example, I'm looking at page 8.1. For example, a client in North who resides in Mbombela requests Mlanga, an attorney, to collect child maintenance money from her ex-husband in Midrand. So a client in North who resides. So basically the main thing is, where is the client residing? The client is residing in Mbombela, and then request Mlanga, an attorney, to collect child maintenance money from her ex-husband in Midrand to register a trust for children, as Mr. Langa only has an office in Mbombela. He has to instruct SA attorneys and attorney firm in Midrand to collect the money and register the trust. The attorney who gives the instruction is known as the instructing attorney, which is Mlanga in Mbombela, and the attorney who receives the instructions and renders the service is known as the instructed attorney, SA attorneys in Midrand. So basically now, in this scenario, is basically because the maintenance money needs to be collected from her ex-husband in Midrand. Then the instructing attorney, the instructing attorney will instruct the instructed attorney to collect the money on their behalf. So I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So basically now with correspondence, is basically you need to record transaction in the instructing attorney's books, and then there'll be records recorded in the instructed attorney's books. So basically, especially when you do correspondence, the main thing is you need to understand who is the instructing attorney, who is the instructed attorney. And then when I do the books for instructing attorney, what accounts should I take into account? And then when I do books in the instructed attorney's books, what accounts should I focus on? So for you, what you need to focus is, who is, especially in a scenario, in a question, if they give you a new question, you need to understand who is who. Who is the instructing attorney and who is the instructed attorney. So in this case, in this example, because the maintenance money, the ex-husband, the child maintenance money from her ex-husband, because the ex-husband is in Midrand. So because the money needs to be collected, the person who's the ex-husband is in Midrand. They're instructing they are instructing the instructing attorney, Mr. Langa, is instructing who? Is instructing SA attorneys who's in Midrand to collect the child maintenance money. So that part, guys, you need to fully, this part here, you need to fully understand when you read a scenario. So I would think in an assignment, they'll give you a scenario, but you need to know who is the instructing attorney, who is the instructed attorney. So in this case, in this example, Mr. Langa here is the instructing attorney, and then MASA attorneys is the instructed attorney. So guys, make sure that you know that difference. And then categories of instruction where no trust are involved, instruction where trust money is involved. These are the examples. Types of cost involved. I want us to go through an example. Let's see. Let's go through 8.4, the flow of activities. So basically in 8.4, look at 8.4. Let's look at 8.4. So correspondence account statement. So the flow of activities when an attorney makes use of service of correspondent is described with reference to the example below. So now account statement. So basically, whose account statement is it? So this is an accounting statement of an instructed attorney. And then the instructed attorney is, and the instructing attorney is Langa attorneys. So basically now, SA attorneys. Number one, SA attorneys is saying, I have collected money from E-North, which is 7,500. The fees for receiving instruction. So basically, this is a statement that the instructed attorney would draft after they've done the work. So number one, Mr. Langa from Langa Attorneys receives a mandate from E-North. So who is Mr. Langa? Remember, Mr. Langa is who? Is the instructing attorney. That's number one. So basically, this is telling you that Mr. Langa, an instructing attorney, receives a mandate from E-North, which is whose client is the instructing attorney's client. So basically, number one is saying to you, the instructing attorney, which is Mr. Langa, receives a mandate from his client, which is E-North, to act on her behalf in the registration of the trust and to collect child maintenance money. So basically, this is the first step. The second step, the instructing attorney only has an office in Mbombela. He instructs the instructed attorney in Midrand to act on their behalf. Number three, the instructed attorney then execute his instructions. So basically, for me, where you see Mr. Langa, so I don't know, guys, if you have a hard copy or you've got an electronic copy. I need you, when you see number one, look right there or highlight and put there, this is the instructing attorney. And this is the instructing attorney's what? Client. This is the instructing attorney's client. Number two, the instructing. So just right there, where does Mr. Lang, where does M. Lang, right there, instructing attorney. Where there is SA attorneys, just right there, highlight and right there, instructed attorney. So Mr. Langa is the instructing attorney. So where you see I say instructing, instructed, I'm not going to be saying their names. I'm just going to be saying number one, the instructing attorney, which is referring to Mr. Langa, which is the instructing attorney. So for you not to get confused, I want you, if you've got a hard copy right next to it there, that next to M. Langa, Mr. Langa, right there, instructing attorney. So number one, instructing attorney receives a mandate from the client, remember E-North. I want you to remember this. So even if even if Mr. Instructing Attorney, which is Mr. Langa, even if Mr. Langa is instructing SA attorneys to collect money on their behalf, E-North is still the instructing attorney's client. E-North is still the instructing attorney's client. So number 2, as the instructing attorney, has an office in Mbombela, he instructs the instructed attorney in Midrand to act on their behalf in these 2 matters. Number 3, the instructed attorney. The instructed attorney then executes his instructions and then records. So the instructed attorney then executes his instructions and records the transactions entered into by him in his accounting records day by day. The instructing attorney, which is Mr. Langa, the instructing attorney will be SA attorneys, client, and a trust creditor account and a client account will be open for Mr. Lang. Number 4, guys, is also important. Point number 4 is very, very important. I'm going to read that again to you and just make sure that you understand. Point number 4 is saying the instructing attorney, Mr. Lang, whose client is E-North. So the instructing attorney whose client is E-North, it's a data to the instructing attorney. So basically, E-North is the client, meaning E-North will owe money to the instructing attorney, Mr. Lang. And instructing attorney, Mr. Langa, will be SA attorney's client. And a trust creditor account and a client account will be open in Mr. Langa, for Mr. Langa, in SA attorney's account. So basically, in this scenario, what is it? So basically, these are the accounts that when we go down, you'll see this. So number 4 is saying to you guys, instructing attorney, Mr. Langa. Mr. Langa will be the instructed attorney's client. Remember, instructing attorney has got a client, E-North. So, but in SA attorneys books, instructing attorney is in the instructing attorney. Instructed attorney will be SA attorney's client. And a trust creditor account and a client account will be opened for Mr. Langa in SA attorney's books. So guys, this one, when we do the exercise, I need to show you what this is. Let me just highlight this. I'm gonna be showing you this. Number 4. We're gonna go back to it when you physically do it. Number 5, SA attorneys then draws up an account, his account statement from his accounting records, and then issues Mr. Langa with a payment for the money collected, after deducting the fees he is entitled to and the refunds of expense incurred on behalf. So number 5, after he has done everything, Mr. Lang, this is what he draws up, explaining what I collected, what fees, what I did, and at the end, this is what is due to me. So basically, number 5 is saying SA attorney will draw up this correspondence account statement. That is number 5. Number 5 is saying SA attorney draws up his account from his accounting records and then issues Mr. Langer with a payment for the money collected after deducting the fees he is entitled to and the refunds of expenses incurred on behalf of Mr. Langer. Number 6 is the instructing attorney then records the information in the account statement which was received from SA attorneys in his own accounting records. Both SA attorney and Enoth will be accounted for as clients of Mr. Lang. As trust money is involved in the collection matter, trust creditor accounts will be opened for SA attorney and Enoth. SA attorney acts on behalf of Mr. Lang. So instructed attorney acts on behalf of the instructing attorney and not on behalf of Enoth, the client. Therefore, there will not be a trust creditor account or client account for Enoth in SA attorney's accounting records, which makes sense because SA attorney only acts on behalf of Mr. Langer, the instructing attorney. So Enoth will only be in the books of the instructing attorney. So this is also note, this is so important. Only Enoth gets recorded in the books of the instructing attorney, which is Enoth. Number 5, general format of correspondent account. There are various formats of correspondent account statement, but for the purpose of a module, we shall only be dealing with the most common. For a better understanding, it is necessary to provide a simplified correspondent account statement. So basically, we're gonna go through the correspondent account statement. Number 1, collection. What is this collection of Enoth? What is the 7.5? How do they get this 7,500? What is the 7,500? So 7,500 is the collection commission. I think we'll go through that. Let's just go down. Number 1. Let's just go down. So collection. So basically, this is the money that the instructed attorney collected on behalf of the client. Remember, there's a maintenance. There's maintenance money that needed to be collected from ex-husband of Enoth. So this is the collection, the 7,500 maintenance fee, the maintenance money that was collected. Let's just go down. Just want to go from number 1, but where is number 1? Number 1, I don't see it, guys. 8.1, I moved to number 12. I just want us to quickly, I want us to go through you understanding number 1, 2, 3, what is required. I'm in page number 12. I want you to understand this 1, 2, 3, how this journals were recorded. So I'm in page number 12. So in page number 12, it's saying 8.1, the accounting entries in the, so in whose accounting records? So basically now, what I want you to look at, whose books are you doing now? Can you see? Whose books? Because there's a difference in which books are you recording and how the accounts will be recorded. So this one is the accounting entry, the accounting entries in the accounting records of we're doing, whose books are we doing now? Instructed attorney. And who's the instructed attorney? The instructed attorney is SA attorneys. So this one, please highlight that in whose books are you doing this? We are to make note that this is the highlight this. This is the accounting records of the instructed attorney. So I think the main thing today, I want you to see the difference in whose books are you recording these transactions. So number one, the following information are you obtain from SA attorneys. So on the 15th of April, to SA received instruction to collect debt owing by Z North instructed. So the instruction was completed on the 30th of April, and the instructed attorney invoiced Langa attorneys. So remember, if somebody invoices you, who are you? You are their data. So SA attorneys, so if somebody invoices you, you are their data. So in their books, what are you? You're gonna be a data in their books. So they're in the books of the instructed attorney, who is SA attorneys. There should be, we should see a data called Langa attorneys. So in these books here, there should be, when we're doing recording this, there should be a data or a trust data called, or a client. A client here, can you see? Ledger account. There must be a client control account for there must be a client control account for Mr. For Mr. Lang. Mr. Lang is an attorney. And I think also when we do this learning unit on correspondence, guys, before we finish, I want to touch on, there's a certain learning unit that touches on this that I want you to quickly show you. Let's see. Let's see. Is it learning unit 6? No. Let's see which one. I want you to also, I'm not sure if you understand the concept of, I just want to see which learning unit is that. When you talk about business bank, trust bank, I just want to briefly just go through that, because remember when you are an attorney, I just want to see which learning unit is that. Which is also, especially when you get to correspondent, that is so important to understand that concept. Yes, learning unit, guys. I need to, whatever we're doing in learning unit 8, learning unit 7 is also affected. So I'm gonna touch a bit on learning unit 6. Because I can see that it talks about trust creditors, which the base of that trust monies. you'll be able to understand in Learning Unit 6. So I'm going to touch base a bit now on Learning Unit 6. Learning Unit 6, you need to understand that there is a business bank account and there is a trust bank account. So now, Learning Unit, the correspondent, they're talking about trust creditor. So now I need to go through a bit, just briefly, on Learning Unit 6. It's talking about business bank account and the trust bank account. So let me give you an overview, a brief on Learning Unit 6. Number one, an attorney will have a bank account, which is his own bank account for his own business. Number two, they will have a trust bank account. What is that trust bank account? So that trust bank account is I, Matilda, come to let me just give you just a brief, this is a brief example. So I have an attorney and I've got a business. Silindile comes as my client and Silindile comes and says to me, Matilda, the next 2 years, or in a year's time, I think, for example, I've got problems or something. We're planning, we're gonna divorce, maybe with the husband, having problems. But Silindile is my client. So Silindile, before the work is done, they would transfer money into my account. So basically, I, as an attorney, I've got my own business account, and then there's a trust bank account. So Silindile is saying to me as my client that there is work that I will need you as my attorney to perform, but not now. Silindile transfers 20,000 into my account. So me as an attorney, because Silindile is my client and me as an attorney, Matilda, I haven't done the work as yet. So because I'm receiving 20,000 from Silindile, I'm going to record that amount into a trust. I'm going to open a trust bank account. So basically, my trust bank account is going to be debited with the 20,000. And then what am I going to credit? So basically, I just want you to understand how does it come about, whereby there's business bank, trust bank, there's trust creditor. So basically that 20,000, I need you to make sure that you understand what I'm telling you. Silindile now says to me, she transfers money into my account as her attorney. But remember, work is not done as yet. I haven't performed. I haven't invoiced a Silindile. So basically what's going to happen, that 20,000, when it comes in, it won't come to my business. So I've got my own business account as I'm going to say MM attorneys. So as MM attorneys, because at that point I haven't performed the work I said. I'm not gonna be allocating those funds from Silindile because I haven't performed the work. Those funds will be deposited in a trust bank account for Silindile. So it will be debit, trust bank, and then what account will be credited? So just comment on the chat to tell me what accounts will I credit. So basically, guys, I need you, there's a bit of Learning Unit 6. I'm giving you this example. I need you to understand something. So me as an attorney, I've got my own business. I've got my own business bank account. When money comes in, whereby I have not performed the work, that money that comes from my client Silindile will be debited in the trust bank account, and what will I credit? What will be the credit account? What will be the credit account? Just to confirm on the chat. I want you, so what I'm telling you, I need you to understand. I'm giving you just a bit. So basically, I've got a business account as Matilda, but the money that I received from Silindile, guys, I will not put that, it will not affect my business account, my business bank. Why? Because I haven't done the work as it. So this is money being received in advance, whereby I have not done the work. So, Khumulemo, I'm going to say this again before you, because I can see you saying business bank. Let me give you this example again. Silindile comes to me and deposits money, 20,000 into my account for work still to be performed. I haven't performed the work yet for Silindile. So she transfers 20,000. That 20,000, I'm saying, is not going to go to my business bank account because why? I haven't performed the work as the attorney. So because as the attorney, I haven't performed the work, that money will go to a trust bank. I will have a trust bank account for Silindile, and I will debit trust bank account in my accounts with 20,000. What will be the credit account? Remember now, this is the money that I received, but work is not yet performed. I haven't done the work yet. Remember, when now as an attorney, I've done the work, then I will invoice. I will invoice Silindile. So I haven't invoiced the Silindile because why? I haven't done the work. So I'm saying to you, when now I debit my trust bank account, what will I credit? I will credit a trust creditor. Why am I crediting a trust creditor? This is money owing. I'm going to have a trust creditor called Silindile because Silindile, I have not done the work as yet as the attorney. Guys, I need you to understand what I'm explaining to you now. It's just a brief explanation. Yes, Silindile, a trust creditor. Why are you saying a trust creditor? Just comment on the chat. Why are you saying a trust creditor? Why are you saying a trust creditor? Silindile, guys, is my client. Silindile transferred 20,000 into my account, but I needed to take that money because I, as SMM attorneys, I have not performed the work as yet. I cannot put that amount of money, which is 20,000, I cannot put it into my business bank account because I haven't performed the work as yet. So the entries will be debit trust bank and credit trust creditor. Why trust creditor? It's a trust creditor because this is money owing to Silindile because I, as the attorney, I have not performed the work as yet. Because it is the clients of the attorney's practice. Yes, because it is the client of the attorney. And again, Silindile and everybody and Luyolo, Nontlantla, Lina, Khomolomo, and Moses, guys, I need you to understand that the money is going to, I'm gonna debit the trust bank because I've transferred the money to the money came in and I transferred to the trust bank. I'm gonna debit the trust bank account and credit the trust creditor. Yes, Silindile, I'm crediting the trust creditor because I haven't performed the work as an attorney. I haven't performed the work as an attorney. So the entries, the initial entries, because now I haven't performed the work on my client, I received money in advance. I'm going to debit the trust bank and I'm going to credit the trust creditor. Listen carefully what I'm going to say. When now I have performed the work, when now I have performed the work as an attorney, I'm going to do what? I'm going to invoice Silindile. Silindile is my client. So guys, I'm going to give you an example. When that money initially comes in the trust accounts, of Silindile, is going to be a debit trust bank with 20,000, credit trust creditor with 20,000. In my books as an attorney, in my accounting records as an attorney, I'm going to have a client called Silindile. I'm going to have a data called Silindile. So that data, remember now, she transferred 20,000, but I have not invoiced her. I have not invoiced my client. So my client doesn't know how much must she or he pay, but the 20,000 is there. I'm gonna say this again. In my books as because we need to separate the two things between the trust and the business bank account. There must be a difference between the trust bank and the business bank account. So number one, Silindile is gonna be a trust creditor, and Silindile is gonna have also be a client. Do you understand why? Why Silindile is both? Silindile, there's a trust creditor for Silindile, and there's also what? A client control account for Silindile. Do you know why? Silindile, because initially I, as an attorney, received money in advance. When I receive money in advance, I haven't done the work as an attorney. So basically, there's gonna be a trust bank account being debited with 20,000 and a trust creditor of 20,000 being credited. When now the work is performed, there has to be a transfer journal that happens. Remember, guys, in Learning Unit 6, there will be a transfer journal that needs to be done, whereby money is being transferred, whereby a trust bank needs to be credited, whereby trust creditor needs to be debited, whereby business bank needs to be debited, whereby a client control account needs to be what? Needs to be credited. Make sure this is just a brief that I'm giving you. Number one, trust bank, because of that example, Silindile transferred money, but because the work is not done as yet, trust bank is going to be debited with 20,000. Trust creditor is going to be credited 20,000. Now I invoice Silindile. In her account, she's got 20,000, but I'm invoicing her 15,000. So in that 15,000, trust bank is going to be credited with 15,000. Now the balance of the bank account will be 5,000. So trust bank will be credited with 15,000. The business bank will be debited with 15,000. The trust creditor will be debited with 15,000, and the client control, if the client control, will be credited with 15,000. So basically, this is just a brief that I want you to understand. So guys, I understand now we're doing Learning Unit 8, but 6, 7, and 8 are all related. 6, 7, and 8 are all related. They are all related. So I wanted you to understand Trust Bank, Business Bank, the entries before I continue with Learning Unit 8. But remember, guys, at the end, I think we still need to have, I will organize, we need to have another session, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, just before you submit your assignment. But I'm gonna just focus on the main points where guys I need you to focus on. So let's do 8.1. I want you to understand 8.1 and just make sure you understand it. So part A is saying, explain the debt collection process of a law practitioner. Let's go there. A debt collection is the process of pursuing payments of debt owed by individual or business. An organization specializes. I'm going to skip that. I want to go to part B. The instructing attorney outlines. The instructing attorneys outlines in the books of the instructed attorney. The instructing attorney outlines in the books of instructed attorney. Yes. So basically, Lang attorney, a business account, okay. Client's account is open in the accounting records of SA attorney. A trust creditor account will also be opened as there is a receipt of trust money. Yes. So I needed to show you that. So basically in the scenario, the client here is Mr. Langa. Mr. Langa is the client. And remember now, in a business account, money would have been received in advance. This is what I just needed to explain to you. I needed to explain to you to say that, so in that scenario whereby I said to you, let's see, I want you to show you the scenario I just told you now about Silindile. Remember, I just did an example now that Silindile is my client and work has not been performed as yet, and we debited Trust Bank with 20,000 and we credited the trust creditor. This is the scenario I'm talking about. 7,500 is the money that SA attorneys has collected on the behalf of their client Langa attorneys, which is what 7,500. So we're gonna debit 7,500 and credit a trust creditor called and credit trust creditor with 7,500. Do you I needed you to understand that part to say that 20,000 example that I've given you is the 7,500 in the books of the instructed attorney. So instructed attorney did collect this on behalf of. This was collected on behalf of the instructing attorney, which is their client, which is the client of the instructed attorney. So 7.5. So basically, in the books of an example that I did with Silindile. Remember what I said? Silindile, that 20,000. Silindile is a trust creditor, and Silindile is also a what? A client. This is the example I'm just showing. So in this scenario, who is Silindile in this example? Just comment on the chat. In this example of SA attorneys. Remember the example I've given you, I said Silindile transferred 20,000, but transferred 20,000, we debited 20,000 in the trust bank, we credited trust creditor with 20,000. But in the books of attorneys, I'm the attorney. I've also Silindile is a trust creditor, and also Silindile is a client, is a client control. So in this scenario of in the books of the instructed attorney? Who is a trust creditor and who is also a client? Just write on the chat. Remember, I'm just referring back to that example. I'm just referring back to the example that I gave you. Silindile MM attorneys received 20,000. And that 20,000 is the money that was received before invoicing, before I've invoiced as an attorney. Guys, Nonhlanhla is saying e-north. Do you agree? In this example that we're looking at, let's just see. Nonhlanhla is saying e-north. So who's the trust? Do you agree with what Nonhlanhla is saying, guys? Do you agree with what Nonhlanhla? So basically, I'm gonna go back to the example that I explained. Silindile, the initial example was Silindile is my client. Silindile transferred money into my account, but I haven't done the work as it as an attorney. So that 20,000 I've debited Trust Bank. I've debited Trust Bank and I've credited Trust Creditor. When now I've invoiced Silindile with 15,000, I'm gonna what? I'm gonna credit Trust Bank and debit Business Bank, and then I'm gonna debit Trust Creditor, and I'm gonna credit Client Control Account for that 15,000 because now we have invoiced. So in this example that we're doing in the correspondent now, what I'm looking at now in example that we're looking at, example 8.1, I'm saying we're doing the books of the instructed attorney, SA attorneys. Who is a trust creditor? Who is also who is the client of SA attorneys? It is Mr. Langa. It is the instruct. Yes, Luyolo. Yes. And Nonhlanhla, do you understand why? Remember, Nonhlanhla, e-north is only a client of Mr. Langa. E-north is not a client of yes. Hey, do you understand why we're saying Mr. Langa is a trust creditor and also a client? E-north is only connected with Mr. Langa. E-north is only connected with Mr. Langa. In the instructed attorney's account, which is SA attorneys, the only client and a trust creditor, it's Mr. Langa. E-north, so the initial client, E-north, is only gonna be a client in the books of Mr. Lang, not SA attorneys. Not SA attorneys. So in this case, guys, when you look, so basically now, when you look at this example, already there, when you see that, oh, I'm doing an instructed attorney's account, just point out in your just jot down in your mind that, oh, this is an instructed attorney's account. Then the instructing attorney then is the trust creditor and also is the client. Why is it a trust creditor? It's a trust creditor because this 7,500 that was collected for maintenance, this was received in advance before work is so this is the money that SA attorneys received on behalf of Mr. Langa. This is the money that SA attorneys received before they invoiced Mr. Langa. So this 7,500 is that maintenance amount that was collected on behalf of a client of Mr. Lang. So what will be the entries? Let's look at for 7.5. That's 7,500. Let's go down and see what will be the entries. The entries will go down, will be in a, let's go down. I just want you to show you how will this be recorded, the 7,500. The 7,500, I'm going to explain again. The 7,500 is the money that the instructed attorney collected on behalf of the instructing attorney, which is the 7,500, this account here, this amount here. So this 7,500, how will it be recorded in the instructed attorney's books? I'm going to go down and just show you. It's got where, as I told you, that 20,000 debit bank was 7,500 and credit what? Trust creditor was 7,500. Guys, do you understand this, the first part? Just comment on the chat. Do you understand this first part? Why is this 7,500 being recorded in a trust account? Just comment. Do you understand that example that I did with Silindile to say that debit bank 20,000, credit trust creditor, because why? Money received but an invoice, the attorney has not invoiced as yet. Okay, so we're happy with that. Then the next step will be, we know that this part, the first part here is done. Money is received, but work is not yet done. So do you understand when I told you with the example of Silindile? I said to you, what did I say? Debit 20,000 and credit trust creditor. And this is recorded in the trust receipts journal. Ne? And then look here, please guys, look here. I want you to look at this. I'm just gonna highlight it. When you record in your a subsidiary journal, which is a trust creditor, this is what you're gonna do in your general ledger. So this debit, this 7,500 here, this is what you're gonna do. Debit the 7,500 in your trust bank account in the general ledger. The account number is B2. You're gonna credit 7,500 trust creditor account for Langa attorneys with 7,500 account B3 in the general ledger. So this is what is explaining. Can you see? This is what is explaining. It's saying to you in the trust receipt journal, we're gonna debit 7,500 in the trust bank account B2. Can you see? When we go to the general ledger, this is what has been done. Trust bank account, here it is. Trust bank account is debited. Where is it? I'm looking at the wrong account. Can you see? Trust, this is what is it saying. Trust bank account is debited in the general ledger with 7,500 account B2. Everything is just being explained here already there in your trust credit account. Same here in your general ledger account B3, 7,500 will be what? Will be credited. So let's go up, up, up. I'm gonna go up, up, up in the account. Let's look at account number 2. Account number 2 is the fees for receiving an instruction. Account number 2. Account number 2 is fees for receiving instruction. It's about 330. Let me just go down 330. Where is it? Where is that account recorded? Just gonna go down 330. 66. How much is it? 330 plus 66. Let's see. 2, 3, and 6. So I want you fees. So I want you to add up number 2, 3, and 6. So guys, when you do this, I'm just showing you how to do this account, and just this is just a tip of how you do it. So when you have, maybe you're looking at a hard copy, right here next to 7,500, T Trust Receipts Journal. So basically this makes it easier for you to see where are you going to record this. So the number 2, 3, and 6 added together. Add up number 2. Add up number 2, 3, and 6. How much do you get? You need to add up those 3 amounts. Yes, okay, Slindile. It's 2, 3, and 6. Fees for receiving instruction, fees for issuing a summons. Number 6 is collection commission. All those amounts, let's just go down. What are those amounts? 1146. These are going to be recorded. I want you to write next to number 2, 3, and 6, write the fees journal. Remember, next to the collection, you've written the trust receipt journal. 2, 3, and 6, write the fees journal. Whose fees are these? Whose fees are these? Who are we paying with this? Look at this being accepted instruction 330, 56. These fees, whose fees are these? So basically it's saying data, a client called Mr. Lang is owing. So basically what is this part? Mr. SA attorneys, that's where SA attorneys is invoicing the instructing attorney. Guys, the 1146 that I'm talking about is where SA attorneys, the instructed attorney, is invoicing. It's invoicing the instructing attorney. I'm going to say that again. This part here on the fees journal, this is where SA attorneys is invoicing. There is an invoice being issued. Number 236, it's whereby the instructed attorneys, which is SA attorneys, is invoicing the instructing attorney, which is Mr. Lang. So guys, look, when you go to the statement, remember I said to you, next to collection, right there, trust, this will be recorded in your trust receipts journal. Number 2, 2, 3, and 6, this is what? Fees journal. This is where SA attorneys, the SA attorneys, which is what? The instructed attorneys is invoicing Mr. Lang. 2, 3. So next to it, you can write the fees journal for 2, 3, and 6. This will go to your fees journal. This will go to your fees journal. So we're still going through the statement. Number 4. Number 4 is tracing cost paid. So this is the cost that was incurred by the instructed attorney in collecting the fees. So let's just see where is that where is that recorded, the 450. Just go down. So guys, look at the tracing fees. The tracing fees and the sheriff fees 4 and 5. Tracing fees, how much is it added together? The 450 and the 600. How much is it? The 450 and the 600 added together. So basically those two, the tracing cost and the sheriff cost, these are the costs that the instructed attorney incurred in collecting this 7,500. This is the tracing cost, the sheriff, and basically this is the attorney's, SA attorney's costs. And just write to it, this will be deducted in his business bank account. Can you see go down? When I go down, this will be recorded in the business cash payment journal. Number 4 and 5. So this is the cost that was incurred by the instructed attorney to collect the fees. So guys, let's just go back to the statement. Let me go to the statement. Number 4 and 5, the 450 and the 600 will be recorded in your business. 4 and 5 will be recorded in your business cash payment journal. So these are the costs that the instructed attorney incurred to be able to collect the fees. So you're gonna credit bank and debit those two expenses. And then we're gonna go to your share, your 1/3 share. So guys, I need you after this class, please go through this exercise and make sure you understand it. Make sure you understand it. And also I want you to go up to this points here. After we finish, read through this. They're telling you money collected by the instructing. What are 2, 3, and 6? These are fees charged, and I need you to read through this. These are the fees charged by the instructed attorney. I need you to read expenses incurred, 4.5. These are the expenses incurred of collecting the fees. Please read through this. 2 and 3. Collection commission. Number 6, read through it, and distribution cost. So number 7, your 1/3 shares of fees. 1/3 shares of fees. I want to go through number 7 with you. So in this stage, SA attorneys debits the client with 1146. Langa attorneys is therefore entitled to 1/3 of the fees. So 1/3 of a share of fees, 382. 382 is the money, is the share of fees, that Mr. Langa is entitled to. I'm going to repeat that again. 330, 66, and 750. It's what I want to highlight. Please highlight this. Your 1/3 shares of fees. Who is your? Who is your? Can you see that on the statement is saying your 1/3? Who is your? Just comment on the chat. I want you to understand this. Who is this? Who is entitled to this share of fees allowance? Who is entitled to this? Guys, please comment. Who isn't entitled to this? Nonhlanhla, why are you saying SA attorneys?
Because, ma'am, it's the account. It's the account statement of SA attorneys.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay. All right. Thank you for your answer. And then, Homolemo, why are you saying Mr. Langa?
Ma'am, because you just said that it's a share from the total of 1,000 something that they calculated. He can get a third of that share of the fees.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Guys, I am going to explain it to you. So remember now, this statement is a statement of the instructed attorney telling the instructing attorney what had happened. This is what I did with the instruction that you gave me. So remember in this, when you do correspondence, it's saying, I just want to read it to you. I'm looking at it. I just want to read it to you up here. What is a share? What is a share of allowance? I want you to highlight it somewhere. It's written there to say, what is that share of allowance? Who is getting that share of allowance? That 1/3. Who is it that 1/3 for? Should be written somewhere. Why is it not written? Yes, it is. That share is that 1/3 is yes, here it is. Let's read it together. A correspondent allowance may be granted by the instructed attorney to the instructing attorney. The maximum, let's just look here. This is so important for you to understand. A correspondent allowance may be granted by a correspondence allowance may be granted by SA attorneys to Mr. Lang. A maximum of 1/3 of fees charged may be granted. The allowance may be less than 1/3 of the fees charged, but not more. The correspondence allowance may only be granted between practitioners. 1/3 allowance is only payable on the fees of the attorney. It is calculated on any expenses that are paid directly to third parties such as advocate and sheriff fees. This has been seen as a disbursement. Calculation of the 1/3. So basically, this is a correspondence allowance may be granted by the instructed by SA attorneys to the instructing attorneys. So this 1/3 here, this 1/3, when they on the statement is saying your share, it's saying Mr. Langa's share. Mr. Langa's share, the instructing attorney's share of the allowance. Yes, Lindile, it's yes, guys. Do you understand? Nonhlanhla, do you understand why it is for Mr. Lang? So basically, it is a share for the instructing attorney. That's so. Remember, guys, this statement. Please go through it. So, guys, remember what you need to remember here is this statement here. This statement here is a statement of the instructed attorney to the instructing attorney. When he said your, it's your Langa, it's your Langa attorney's share of the allowance, which is taking what? Which is taking let's just see. It's taking the fees, it's taking the fees, it's taking the and also the commission and the 1/3 of it. The question is, where is this recorded? I need you to write on it, next to it, the fees journal. Let's go down. It's gonna be recorded in the fees journal. Can you see what it's doing? That fee is decreasing what needs to be paid to SA attorneys. Remember, SA attorneys invoiced 1146, but it's gonna only be receiving 764. Why is he only receiving 764? Because there's a share of that 1146 that SA attorneys need to pay to Langa attorneys. Do you understand this part, guys? That one share of fees decreases the fees, the fee amount of the fee amount of, so it decreases what the amount owing to SA attorneys from Mr. Lang. And then let's look at electronic fund transfer to yourselves. Let's look at number 8. Where is that? Number 8, this is gonna be paid out of the trust payment. So next to it, just write there, trust payment journal. Electronic fund transfer to yourselves. Just write there, trust payment journal. Just guess number 8. Who's getting this transfer? Who's getting this transfer? Who is electronic funds to yourselves? Who's getting this 55686? Electronic fund transfer to yourselves. Who's getting this 5686? Okay, let me explain. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking that question. Thank you for asking that question, Silindile. So this amount here, they've taken 7,500. They've taken, so just take 7,882 minus 330 minus 66 minus 450 minus 600 minus 750. How much do you get? So basically, this is the balance on the statement. Can you see? So, yes. So I want to show you something. So I want you to, let's look at this account here. I want you to look at this account. Remember what this account is. This is the money. Look at this trust bank account. This is the money that, so this is a trust creditor control account of Mr. Lang. So this is money that is owing to Mr. Lang. So remember the 7,500, that's the money that got received in advance. This is the money that got received in advance. And then, so this is the money that was collected. And then this, out of this money, 5686. Can you see? Out of this money, out of this money, 5686 was paid to. Where is this 5686 going to? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, well done, guys. And then this is, yes. And this is the money. Want to show you something. Plus 50 plus. I want to show you something, guys. Ne? Look at this statement. Ne? Add up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and minus this, and tell me how much is it? Yes. What? You're getting 1,800 and 1,814. Who is receiving this money? Who is receiving this money? Whose money is it? 1,814. Yes. So in the statement, can you see? In the statement of account, SA attorneys is only getting this minus this. Amount collected minus amount paid to Mr. Langa, and then the difference that they're getting is how much? 1,814. So this amount that SA attorneys collected on behalf of Mr. Langa minus the amount that needs to be paid, that will be paid to Mr. Langa. He gets what? The difference between the two, which is how much? Which is how much? Which will go to his business cash receipts account, which is this. So how do you get to this 1,814? There's two ways you can get it. It's either you can add all minus this, or you can just take 7,500 money collected on behalf of Mr. Langa minus money that will be paid to Mr. Langa, 5686. Then you get to the amount that this 1814 that needs to be paid to amount that needs to be paid to SA attorneys. Can you see? And then when we look at the ledger, let's look at the ledger. So basically, Mr. Langa, trust creditor, this is the amount, remember, that was received in advance. It will be debited with this. And then this is, remember that example that I said with Silendile. I said when Silendile now invoices 15,000, a trust creditor is going to be debited with 15, and then a client control account is going to be credited with 15,000. This is the example that I was talking about. Can you see? This is it. This is it. So this is the amount invoiced, and this now is the amount being actually paid. This is the amount being paid. This is the amount being paid. So somebody would ask a question to say, but they've invoiced 1146. Why now they're getting paid 1,800 for 1,814? Remember, guys, they only invoiced 1146, and remember this was the 1/3 share. So why are they not getting 764? That's the question that I'm having to you guys. Remember here, they've invoiced 1146, and this is the share for Mr. Langa. They're supposed to get 764. Why are they getting why are they getting 1814? That's the question I'm asking you guys. Why are they not getting 764? Why did you see why are they not getting 764? Why are they getting 1,814 instead of 764? Guys, remember they've invoiced, they're supposed to get 764 plus. Don't forget that they've paid tracing fees and shared fees. Remember, they've paid this that they're also charging. So for tracing this, they also paid this, remember. Remember, they also paid this. So add up 764 plus the tracing fees and the sheriff fees and tell me how much you get. Can you see, guys? Can you see? Remember why I'm asking the question? Everything here, this is what they're entitled to. Fees for receiving instruction, fees for issuing, tracing fees, sheriff fees, collection commission, minus this share of Mr. Lang. This is their amount. So now I want to go through the general ledger. Let's go through the general ledger. So the general ledger, remember, look at the fees account. Can you see the fees account? These are the fees that they invoiced. And then this is the amount that needs to be paid to Mr. Langa. Then they need to be paid what? 764. The trust control account, can you see how much what's the remaining balance here is? The remaining balance there is 764. So I'm gonna highlight this. So this general ledger. So this is the 764 that needs to be invoiced. When you go to the trust creditor, this is the initial amount that was collected. This is the initial amount that was collected. This is the amount that was paid to Mr. Langa. And then this is the amount that was paid to, that is due to, this is due to SA attorneys. So can you see that this account balances out? So basically this account shows you what happened to the 7.5 that came in. And then this is how the 7.5 was paid out. Can you see the 5,686 went to Mr. Langa, and the client control, this was paid to SA attorneys. And then the client control account, 8,000, remember 8,000. So can you see this account? There's no balance. Can you see this trust control account? There's no balance at the end. This account clears itself out. The only account that has a balance is what? Is this fees account. Can you see? Only this fees account has got a remaining balance of 764. Can you see? Only this has a none. So only this fees account has got a balance. So let's go to the client control. Client control is remember what is this 1050? Is the sheriff fees and the remember what is this 1050? This is it. This is what SA attorneys paid in collecting the fees. Yeah, it is. And then this is the fees, 764. All in all, what is owed to SA attorneys is 1,814. Can you see that this account also balances out? There's no remaining balance. The trust bank. Remember now, the trust bank, this is money that came in and then payments that were made for 7,500. Here's are the payments, 5686 and the 1814, adding up to 7.5. The business bank account, can you see? This is the business bank account of SA attorneys. Can you see? This is a payment that went out for that sheriff fees and tracing fees. And then this is the receipt that came in. So basically, SA attorneys received 1814 and paid 1050. The remaining balance in his bank account is what? Is 764. So the bank account has got a balance of remaining of 764. And then this is a client control account, client ledger of Langa attorneys. So basically, 1146 was invoiced, the tracing fees, sheriff's fees, but 1814 was paid to SA attorneys and 382 was paid to Mr. Langa. So this clears out. So basically now the trust creditor account, remember, it had a credit of 7.5. Mr. Langa was paid 5686, and then the client, which is SA attorneys, was paid 1814. What is trial balance? Can you see the trial balance? Business bank account. This is, can you see? Only the fees account and the business bank account had a balance at the end. Can you see? That's why now the trial balance is only 2 accounts. Fees account had a balance, a credit balance of 764. Where is it? 764. And then the business bank account had a debit of 764. Can you see that your trial balance balances? Can you see that your trial balance balances? So guys, after we went through that exercise, any questions? What is your questions on that exercise? So we just did a statement of account of an instructed attorney. And I wanted you to understand what is really happening there. How do you feel about this exercise we just did? So I want you to go through it on your own and just write down any questions that you have. So for me, I feel once you understand what is what, why you doing what. Everything becomes easier when you do it. So this is just an account of an instructed attorney. So when you go through this chapter 8, there will be how you record this in the books of Mr. Lang. So we just did record this in the accounting records of SA attorneys. So for me, I feel once you understand who's who in this, now the first thing when you do this exercise, oh, I'm recording this in the books of the instructed attorney. Who is the instructed attorney? SA attorneys. And then when you look at the statement, when they say your, who is your? Your, they're talking about Langa attorneys. Langa attorneys is the one, the instructing attorney who is instructing. Instructed attorney, instructing attorney, Mr. Langa, who is instructing the instructed attorney, which is SA attorneys. So in this exercise, we just did the accounting records of the instructed attorney, which is SA attorneys. And again, do you understand why I had to go through a bit of Learning Unit 6 so that you understand business bank, the difference between business bank and trust bank? So guys, I need you to go through this. Go through this, but when you go through this, look at the statement. Remember what I say to you. When you do this, your main focal point or your starting point, especially when you go through this, your starting point is let's just see. Your starting point is this. Whose statement am I looking at? Whose statement am I looking at? This is a statement that the instructed attorney is giving to Langa attorney, the instructing attorney, to say that, oh, this is the money that I've collected, 7,500 on behalf of your client, Enoth. So this money, when I get this money, I'm going to record it in the trust bank because this money is not my money. It's the money that I collected on behalf of my client, Langa attorneys. So this is the fees that I incurred while collecting the 7,500. I've incurred fees. So I'm charging you 330 for collecting the 7,500. I'm charging you 66 for collecting the 7,500. I'm charging you 450 for collecting the 7,500. I'm charging you 600 and 750 to collect this 7,500. But then you, as the instructing attorney, you're gonna, out of this, you're gonna get 382. And within this, me collecting with me collecting this is what you getting from that amount. I am the instructed attorney telling the instructing attorney. Homolemo is saying, which other modules have you covered? Can I somehow get them as is my first time? Oh, we've covered a brief of learning unit, the basics, the debits and credit, and the accounting equations. I think that's what we did. We covered the basics of the accounting equation, the basic debits and credits. That's what we covered earlier on.